Now is it time for it? While we are young, let's fall in love, yeah. Dreamer. Weeba-doo-dee, yeah. Cause we might be meant for each other, to be, not to be. Let our hearts discover. Let's
So Dennis, what is the biggest takeaway you had from your near-death experience?
That's a good question. Well, there's one is that love is the key to all the power, no matter what's in front of you, and the other is that we are so powerful, but we're kind of brainwashed from the beginning of life to believe otherwise, but it's not true. We are super powerful. This is the take, because many times in my life I felt so, helpless or powerless and all this, and it's not true. It's just we have to control what we're thinking and what vibrations we surround ourselves with. Stay where we want to leave. Here's the other thing. We take this life too serious, because this life is a game. It's created by souls for souls to experience in, and the earth is a soul. It's alive. That's why if you put something in the ground, if you plant something in the ground, it grows, because it's life. It's not just a rock. And it's actually.
A jak widzisz ludzi, dusze w kontekście innych ras? Bo jest taka opinia, że istnieją rasy wyższe od rasy ludzkiej.
Nie ma wyższej rasy od rasy ludzkiej. Cała zabawa, w jaką tu zostaliśmy wkręceni, to, że zostaliśmy pozbawieni, została nam jakby ukradziona nasza pamięć o tym, kim jesteśmy, nasza tożsamość. Trochę można porównać tak, jakby z króla zrobiono żebraka w tej grze, po to, żeby on radził sobie jako żebrak, a gra polega na tym, czy przypomni sobie, kim jest. Ponieważ w umyśle kolektywnym wszystkich ludzi, w tym Matrixie, w tym umyśle, który podpina nas wszystkich i nasze umysły, jest informacja, jest program ofiary, program poczucia bycia kimś małym względem siły wyższej, sił wyższych, aniołów, bogów, ras, plejadian i jakichkolwiek innych humanoidów, których mamy uważać za wyższych, bóstwa, bogów, przewodników. My nie potrzebujemy żadnych przewodników, nie żadnej opieki. My jesteśmy, można powiedzieć, najwyższą rasą, ponieważ tylko w człowieka świadomie wciela się dusza. Dusza, kiedy wymyśliła i stworzyła całą tę grę, kiedy stworzyła Irian, Plejadian i inne istoty, zleciła im konstrukcję naszego ciała fizycznego i tylko w to ciało jest w stanie się wcielić. Czym jest jeszcze dusza, bo wiele osób być może umniejsza w ogóle jej rolę, czy w ogóle zaprzecza jej istnieniu. Dusza jest reprezentacją źródła, jest częścią źródła w tej grze.
Great. She said, you're going to find a job. A job's going to come to you by the next week. And she said, there's going to be a bouncer, a guy there. And she said, he's going to be a homosexual. She said, he's going to be a psychopath. And she said, whatever you do, don't argue with him and don't get into a fight with him. Because my mother knew me. I was I call it the roaring 20s. I was vigorous. And it was like, and I have nothing against anybody who's gay or lesbian, but if you're homosexual and you know that I'm not, and you come after me, I was going to defend myself, you know. So she knew that I was, you know, I wasn't looking for trouble, but I could be hot-blooded if it came my way. So she said, whatever you do, don't fight, because she said, she explained it like it's like two possibilities or two timelines. She said the first timeline, he'll kill you. He's going to kill you if you get into a fight with him, if you get into an argument with him. The second timeline, she said, you would kill him, but you would go to jail for the rest of your life. Exactly. And she said, the second thing I'm going to tell you is that the girlfriend you have now, I had only been seeing this girl for about maybe a year and a half or something like that. She said she has 3 kids that you don't know about. And she said she's going to try to have a 4th kid with you. And she said she's going to try to lie about it, like say she's on the pill or say she's, you know, she's going to try to catch you.
Trap
and
you,
she
yeah.
said, yeah, trap you. And so she said, be careful about that. And I said, okay, Mom. Left the club, and that was it. Next day, band member calls me, says, hey, man, did you hear what happened? I said, no, what happened? Remember that bouncer you were talking about? I said, yeah. He got into an argument with the club owner and crushed both of his rib cages and went to jail for manslaughter. He's in jail now.
Oh, the owner died.
Yes. Then I said to myself, I'd like to see. No, then I said, I would like to stop this drop of water and to stop time so that I can see it, because it was called bump. And it was as if you don't ride a bicycle in 20 years and I give you a bike, you're still going to be able to ride it. It was like that for me. It was like I was remembering, and I just waved my hand across the air, and the drop of water froze in midair. I stopped time. And for some odd reason, the soul or me, wasn't so surprising, you know. And then I said, I'd like to see that drop of water from every angle. And then I just opened my hand, and 5 of me appeared at the sink at the drop of water. One was on the right, one was on the left, one was underneath the water looking, one was watching them, and I was watching all of them. And I was looking, I said, wow, this is amazing. And when I would close my hand, they would all suck back to me. Okay. Then I would open my hand, then they all be back. And it started to be funny. I started to do that. And then I said, this time I'm going to add a little shake. And I went, and they all appeared, and they all shook like that a little bit. And I just kept going back and forth, and it's basically turning into Bugs Bunny, man. It was like Bugs Bunny, man. I was going back and forth. Oh my God, this is funny. Until I burst out laughing. When I burst out laughing on the other side, it was like I was laughing in the Grand Canyon. It just went, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
Yes. And then after the laugh, I felt somebody was watching me. And and I heard a voice, and this voice said, kind of like a parent would say to a child at a playground, don't run around the corner too fast, you might fall. It said to me, if you don't go back now, you might have to stay. And I said, oh yeah, that's right, my heart, it can't stay stopped like that too much longer. I said, yeah, that's right, you're right. And I didn't question who was talking to me. I felt like it was probably God because of but it was gentle. It was not saying you must go back. It was almost like a choice. If you don't go back now, you might have to stay. And it was now up to me to make that choice if I wanted to stay or to go back. But I mean, I was, a young man, 34, 35, I wanted to go back. So about the earth, about why souls come, many things, and that I didn't believe in before. And it blew my mind, but I got all that information. And this time I was able to bring it back. This time I was able to remember it. And and then my heart started beating and everything was okay. But I knew a lot of things that I didn't know before.
Like what?
Oh, for example, on the other side, there's no right or wrong, only perception. The reason why souls come here is to experience, not to grow or not to go to a school. They're already perfect. They come here to experience. If I give you a book to read on how to drive a car, but you've never driven a car, it's like that. You have the knowledge, but you don't have the experience. Stuff like, the Bible. The Bible, there's only some things that are correct in the Bible. The rest is manipulation from the priests and the governments that was controlling the people at the time. The other thing, Christ is like, there's a Christ consciousness just under unconditional love. It's a consciousness, but it's not, we all are sons or gods. Oh yeah, there's the other thing. We are gods with a big G. We're part of God, but we also are gods. We can have multiple lifetimes at the same time. We can, there's so many things that we can do, and we only use a fraction of our power to have a lifetime like we're having now. I learned so much about, here's another one, about hell. Yeah. Why people experience hell, some of them, when they die, because what they believed in, because they're such powerful gods, what they believed in, they actually created. Now, according to the Christian religion, if you die and you go to hell, you're never supposed to get out, right?
Right.
Why are hundreds are getting out? Why? Because they created that. God is only love, only, and will never torture you. There's another one, no karma. There's no such thing as karma. Karma is not such thing, but there is a such thing as law of attraction, frequency. And that means if you kill somebody, it's not because you killed that person that you're going to be killed. It's because you're on that frequency of the possibility of you being killed. It happening for you killing or being killed. It's like a radio station. If you have rock, you can't get classical music because you're on the frequency of rock. And the same with killing or lying. If you're on the frequency of killing, you're on that frequency. So you may kill, but you also may be killed because you're on that killing frequency. And that's what it's about. It's not about, oh, you get paid back. Oh, you got to get, no. There's no debt with that. Many things. Yeah. I learned a lot of many things. And we're such, it's very important. And people have different death experiences because of the process of when they die, where their mind and heart is at that moment.
Right.
And also learned that even from my mother, she needed an escort to come back to Earth because it takes time for different souls to get used to the other side. Everything isn't quite automatic. It goes slowly and slowly and slowly in a comfortable way that's comfortable for the individual. So that's why you may see comfortable things. A guy who's into Buddha, Krishna, they may see Buddha. A guy who's into Muslim may see Allah. It's to make you comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
That's what I've heard.
But the true religion is love. It has nothing to do with it. And there's no, forget about all that sin and all that stuff. That's junk. So, and also, everybody in the life, here's another download. Everybody in the life has exit points. Mm-hmm. Now, exit points in your life is like the time you had a coffee instead of going to work on time and you missed an accident, or you didn't catch that plane and that plane crashed. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. Or you didn't walk across the red light because you were on the phone and you had to talk and you didn't cross, and this car would have hit you if you had to cross because he ran the light. You know, those are exit points. And we all have exit points to if we want to stay or we want to leave. Here's the other thing. We take this life too serious because this life is a game. It's created by souls for souls to experience in. And the earth is a soul. It's alive. That's why if you put something in the ground, if you plant something in the ground, it grows because it's life. It's not just a rock. Mm-hmm. And it's actually a soul. And I'll give you a little bit of what's going on now with this, because we're experiencing a vibrational change, a complete vibrational change. And what the earth is doing is offering everybody a choice, because there's going to be two timelines. There's going to be a 5D timeline and a 3D timeline. And it doesn't matter which choice you take, because I mean, God loves you anyway. And here's the other thing, maybe your viewers, this would help some of your viewers, is that nobody dies a horrible death. Now, I'm going to tell you why, because seconds or even minutes, sometimes even 10 minutes before you're going to check out of here, your soul is out of your body before it happens. So you won't experience the murder. You won't experience the knife or the bullet going in your head. You won't experience that.
So Dennis, what is the biggest takeaway you had from your near-death experience?
That's a good question. Well, there's one is that love is the key to all the power, no matter what's in front of you. And the other is that we are so powerful, but we're kind of brainwashed from the beginning of life to believe otherwise, but it's not true. We are super, super powerful. This is the take, because many times in my life I felt so, helpless or powerless and all this, and it's not true. It's just we have to control what we're thinking and what vibrations we surround ourselves with. It's important, and it's funny. It's so simple. It sounds so cliche. Oh, just be happy. It sounds so funny, but guess what? That's true. And guess what? That's more powerful than you ever know. I have to mention my grandfather would say to me, go, when I was a kid, how many mistakes did you make today in school? And I said, well, today I made no mistakes. And he would be disappointed. And he asked me again the next week, how many mistakes did you make today? And I said, well, I did make one in algebra. Then he'd take me out for ice cream. And he did that for me to not be afraid to make mistakes and not to be afraid to try, around the world. And I never had done that before. But that was for my grandfather also saying, you can just try. And so
Dennis, I'm gonna ask you a few questions, ask all my guests. What is your definition of living a fulfilled life?
I would say happiness, being happy and sharing love with others. That's, if you're able to be happy and share love with people, for me, you're rich. You've won.
If you can jump into a time machine and go back in time, what would you tell the little boy that used to be you?
Oh, very good one. Well, I would tell him, you don't have to follow anybody to be successful in music. Always believe in yourself a little bit more, no matter what anybody tells you. And and don't forget to love yourself and love others. That's all. That was it.
How do you define God?
What I got in my downloads is that God is everything, and the description is almost undescribable.
Mhm.
Is everything, even the bad people we think are bad. It's all part of God, and it all has a plan also. That's another thing. Some of the bad things that happen in your life is a plan, and if you look back on it, you'll see. Like my father, he was not he didn't want me to do music, but he would come home after work on the police force and play the greatest jazz you ever want to hear.
Mhm.
And that made me interested enough to become a musician. But he didn't want me to be a musician. He wanted me to be a lawyer. But I did my music, and my father didn't support me on that.
Mhm.
And because he didn't support me, it made me want to work harder to be a great artist.
He played his part.
You see? Exactly.
He played his part. He played his
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
And what is the ultimate purpose of life?
Experience, and also remembering who you really are, you really love. That's it.
And do you have any parting messages for the audience, my friend?
Yes, we're going through an energy change on the planet. You have a choice. Rather you go positive, high vibrations, or negative, low vibrations. Low vibrations will leave you in 3D, third dimension. And we're going to change in the next coming times, years. We're going to change. It's going to switch. So I would say, if you want a world of just love and peace and harmony with everything and everyone, you might want to go to 5D. If you don't, it's okay. I don't hate anyone who likes the roller coaster ride. Then you stay on the lower vibrations. But don't be confused with all this confusion, because the confusion, why it's affecting everybody on the planet, is because of vibrational change. The earth is rising. It's not getting worse like people think. It's actually getting better. There's more light coming in. But the people who are on low vibration are having a harder time, because you can't put a positive battery and a negative battery together for a long time. What happens? They try to split apart, and that's what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Very
Yeah.
true, my friend. Thank you, Dennis, so much for coming on the show and sharing your story, your journey with us, and spreading the good love and energy that you are in the world, my friend. I appreciate you.